And we are live here to chat about tonight's episode of Suits. And every time I start screaming, I can see Shana and Lizzie in the corner jumping. But if that scared you, then you're going to be scared this entire episode because we are going to be screaming this entire time. We're talking about tonight's episode of Suits, Season 9, Episode 1, and tonight's episode of Pearson, Season 1, Episode 1. And with that, I hope you're already hearing the screaming. I'm going to toss it to Shana to scream and or introduce herself. That was Shana. And Lizzie to scream and or introduce herself.
We don't actually have words today. We're just gonna scream.
Yeah, I strongly agree. This will just be just like a 30-minute compilation of Shana screaming. If someone wants to do that for us for the finale of Suits, make for us like a compilation of all of Shana's best moments, Lizzie's best moments. That would be fantastic. Maybe I should do that. That sounds like a me type of job. Hi, and welcome everybody to the chat. I think I tweeted this out, so people are probably joining now. You know how we always start this off, other than with screaming, with rating the episode on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being you hated everything about it, 5 being you loved everything about it. Because we have 2 episodes, you can give me one combined rating, or you can give me separate ratings. This is what Suits got, but this is what Pearson got. You know, we can see where sort of we're at. I'm just going to float it while we're waiting for those to trickle in. I'm going to float that to Shana. Shana, can you rate tonight's episodes of Suits and Pearson?
We're out of 5, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
So Suits gets a 12 out of 5.
That makes
12
sense.
years, 12 hours of banging, 12 stories. So it's going to sound unfair to Pearson, but I'm going to say it's like a 5 out of 5 because I can't break it off the charts because then we have nowhere to go. But I love it. Like, I mean, God herself. I loved everything tonight, which is a nice, it's nice.
It's a refreshing feel. You're on it. We haven't felt this way in a while. It's a refreshing good feeling. Sounds like the chat's agreeing with you. Sasha says, I agree, Shana. Shiamo says Suits is 100 out of 5 and a 12 raised to the exponent factor of 12.
Oh my God.
Out of 5 for her as well. Love the equations, love the enthusiasm. Right there with you. Lizzie, what did you feel about tonight's episodes? What's your rating?
I'm gonna follow the rules because Shana already made the 12 joke, so I can't. She got it. But Suits gets a 5 out of 5 for the first time in like forever. Mm-hmm. I don't think even the finale last year, which we liked, deserved a 5 out of 5 because unless you were just counting like the last scene, then no. This episode gets a 5 out of 5, even though there were things like the whole thing with the name and they were all being loyal idiots and like this makes no sense, people. And I was still like, I don't care because Harvey and Dawn are banging. So like,
if you wanted me to pay attention to something other than Harvey and Donna, like you're gonna have to put somebody other than an old white man in there. But
yeah. Pearson, however, does not get a 5. Like, I don't agree with Shana, and I'm sorry. And I love Gina. The problem is that I only love Gina. I don't think the rest of the characters were as strong as Gina. And, I mean, it is her show. So, literally, it's not that they need to be strong for the show to work. But at some point, they're going to need to be more than just there.
Yeah, it was tricky, I think, with Pearson, and that's why I'm struggling with comparing the two, which is why I took the easy way out and made you guys read it first. So thank you for taking the hard part, and those of you in the chat doing that as well. Because rating them it's almost like you can't rate them on the same scale, because for Suits, we know these characters, we've been introduced to these characters, they're not, this flat, introduction of here's a concept and we're going to build a character out of it. Whereas with Pearson, we're starting from scratch with everybody except for Jessica Pearson and kind of Jeff, but does he really count? No. So it's really just Jessica Pearson that this all hinges off of. And she has sort of 2 steps above everybody else. One, She has the benefit of, we've known her, we've loved her for, 8 going on 9 years now. Everybody's familiar. The other leg up that she has that makes her better than everybody else is she is better than everybody else. It's Gina Torres. She is better than everybody else on screen. She's better than all of, like, it's Gina Torres. You know what I mean? So that just, there's such an imbalance of power on Pearson. And I think they're leaning into it. I hope they're leaning into it. I hope they're not trying to get to the place where they're trying to sell themselves as an ensemble show. Because while Suits can be an ensemble show and it's lower players, like initially Donna was a lower player from the start. She was, just recurring. Their lower players become a part of the main ensemble. I don't see that happening for Pearson. I think they really have to lean into one strong lead there. Paulina also in the chat gives Suits a 30,000 million out of 5, by the way, and got a 3.72 out of 5 for Pearson. So we have some people agreeing with you, Lizzie, that it wasn't quite a 5 out of 5 for Pearson. Lots of screaming, lots of positivity about the Katrina and Sheila scene. Let's switch and talk about Suits, and we'll touch on Pearson a little bit at the end. What did you think of Suits as a whole? What were some of the pieces that were standing out to you? I know we all have kind of already touched on the Darby piece. What specific Darby moment, what specific unique pair like Katrina and Sheila is standing out to you now that you've had some time for it to sink in? Shane, I'm going to toss it back to you.
No, I think for me, honestly, the lack of Darby moments, like the lack of specific, when they were just being themselves as they've all, I can't even talk, guys, as they've always been. Like, for the longest time, I felt like they were really stilted because the showrunner wanted to keep them apart, and that was that. So we had this just bad, like it'd be good, and then but this was completely like, I mean, it was just them, like whether they were kissing or having their 12th orgasm or whatever, like forget that part, like even just like the phone calls and things like that. Outside of Darby, as if such a thing exists, I really, really, really liked when Sam beat the shit out of Harvey. I mean, I think it really was an interesting take with Donna saying, hey, like, if you're like, oh, I can't hit her because she's a girl, even though she's like trained and probably going to kick your ass, then you're disrespecting her. And then like seeing them actually, like, we knew they were kind of the same person and they were kind of equal players legally, and then seeing her, if anything, outmatch him physically, like, I was digging that. Like, I think and I also thought, like, even when she verbally beat the shit out of him, he kind of deserved it for lying. I didn't necessarily like all the things she had to say about it being Donna's fault, even if it was, because we're in a new season now.
Everybody say hi to Peter showing up in the background.
So, yeah, like, I think if there's anything non-Darby as a positive takeaway, it's definitely whatever Sam and Harvey's definitely platonic, not TV showrunner, ironic platonic, actual friendship was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that the Sam and Harvey thing was kind of interesting because I was really worried they were going to go some sort of weird, shallow, jealousy, sort of dumb route, and they didn't go that way. They made it more meaningful, and I really appreciated that. I'll also say we've got Shayna's name showing up a lot in the chat. A lot of people agreeing with Shayna. Sasha's saying same in all caps. That scene stood out to her. Chiamo says Shayna's on point. Sasha agreed that they dropped all the pretenses, which was nice. Paulina says same, Shayna. And Paulina also said she loved everything in tonight's episode. A lot of positivity for the Suits episode. I'm curious. So I really like the specific example that Shayna was giving about what was going on with Sam and Harvey and how they kind of redirected that in a good way. Lizzie, did you have any specific moments as well? Or those of you watching, also drop it in the chat. Any specific moments from the Suits episode that are really standing out to you as like this was worth going through hiatus for?
I mean, I think in general, because we got to talk Darby first, I think like I like that the dynamics between Harvey and Donna haven't really changed. Like they're still Harvey and Donna. She's still, it's not like they're in a relationship and now I'm just gonna do whatever you say and I'm not gonna call you out on your shit or I'm not gonna tell you what I think, because they're still Harvey and Donna. And I like that. The one thing that I mean, it's not that I did, that they had to joke about the fact that they took so long, because they only took so long because the writing was stupid. But like the writing was so stupid that they had to make a joke about it now that they decided not to be stupid. And then that was a little awkward at first, because you as a viewer are like, yeah, we know it was stupid. We were here watching. So that was kind of like, I mean, it was, they had to do it, because if not, they would have had to get Harvey and Donna together 3 seasons ago, and it would have been ridiculous for us as viewers if the characters had not realized how stupid the past few years have been. But writing wise, it's kind of like, you realize you did a dumb thing for 3 seasons. Outside of that, of the Harvey and Dawn, I didn't really like Sam this episode. I know Shana loves her, but the whole thing felt so stupid. Maybe to me, as a background or someone who does law, like when Sane took the blame, like what did they think was gonna happen? Did they think they could keep the name there? Are you all idiots? Like, did you go to law school? Have you been practicing all this time? And I was here screaming at my computer. Like, did you really think this made sense? And they were all like, loyalty first. It's like, do you realize how many problems stupid loyalty has caused you? In like every problem in this fucking show has to do with one of them being blindly loyal to someone else. And I get it, but like it's been 9 seasons. Like, haven't you learned the lesson?
No.
I think they're intentionally, well, first of all, strongly agree, but I think this whole blind loyalty thing is something they're almost intentionally injecting into this as part of the story, because that creates sort of consistency across seasons. That was such a theme with Harvey and his loyalty to Mike, and Mike's loyalty to Harvey, and Harvey's loyalty to Donna, and so on, and Harvey's loyalty to Jessica as well, and Jessica protecting Harvey and Mike, you know, like they all sort of had this sort of blind loyalty to the point of being unethical, and they tried to recreate that in a few places. And one of the places they tried to recreate that is with Zane and Sam, right? That was another example of sort of this blind trust, not blind, but unconditional trust and loyalty, I guess I should say. And that's such a theme for Suits that doing that now for this episode, where they're trying to show that loyalty to Zane, it's sort of a convenient place for that to be put, right, in the context of the story. But it's also a theme that makes this feel very much like a Suits episode. It's frustrating in the same way that Suits episodes often are frustrating for the same thing. I don't know, and like you were saying, I don't know how realistic that sort of mindset is. Certainly the conflict is not realistic, nor is it, I'm sure, meant to be, because it's a TV show, but I'm not sure how realistic even that mindset is, that extreme level of loyalty towards, you know, Zane really is just a coworker that they've known for, you know, timeline on this show is really strange, but like a year and a half, honestly, at this point. They've known his daughter for maybe 2 years, you know, and that was kind of a point in this show as well. But they're sort of trying to create a connection where there's only a medium connection, I guess I should say. And I say this as somebody who liked Zane. I thought he was interesting, but having this kind of all revolve around loyalty to him, my feelings on that are really mostly tied to the fact that, you know, I like sort of the Zane family overall, and we kind of aren't really going to get that anymore for obvious reasons. And I liked eventually what we developed last season was Zane and Donna's sort of loyalty to each other, and I think we see reference to that a bit in tonight's episode. A lot of people agreeing with you in the chat about especially your comments with the writing being stupid, keeping Harvey and Donna apart for so long. Sasha says she was a little nervous during the opening scene when they closed up on Donna's face, which looked tense while Harvey was sleeping. I thought something bad was going to happen. Maybe it was foreshadowing for the future episodes. Tiamo says Sam finding out about Darby, that was the worst way for her to find out, but she says it was funny. And Tiamo also liked Harvey being emotionally available, that was good character development. Paulina says she liked zero angst. I agree, that was great. And she liked Darby dynamic, back to basic, humor, cuteness. What do you guys think about Sasha's thoughts there, about foreshadowing some conflict, either for Darby or for any of the other characters? What do you think will be the conflict? What do you think could be the sticking points this season? We have a shorter season, so we're probably going to jump right into the conflicts, right? Shana, do you have some thoughts on what we can expect in terms of Suits conflict this season?
Well,
okay, try to answer that without saying something you already know. Go.
right, that's the point.
This is kind of cheating, right? Because they do already know some about the season.
not a ton. So I'm just gonna.
I'm so glad you went first.
In my recap, that have nothing to do with anything else I've seen. So I think I'm just gonna have to go with that and kind of elaborate. Lewis did a lot of telling people in very powerful positions in the law that Robert wasn't the real person who broke privilege, and he kept saying it was Harvey, and he told Sheila that it was specifically Donna. He also told the Harvard law guy, and of course Alex already knows. So I think that is going to come back and bite. I think a lot is going to bite Harvey in the ass in the long run, because that's the logical conclusion to this whole saga, as much as I hate to see it. And it's also, Lewis can't keep his, like, the fact that they're in the premiere and there's so much else going on, and they make it a point of having Lewis tell people that work at two prestigious law schools, one of which he might think has loyalty to him because of their relationship, but we all know that she's putting the law first kind of person, and pretty much always has been. And the other one who has no reason to be loyal to Lewis, especially if it, I don't quite remember Professor Gerard exactly being Harvey's biggest fan. So that's my guess in terms of conflict. I will say, the promo and the ending moment of the episode kind of make it obvious where one of the sources of struggle is going to be, and that's all I'm gonna put about that, though.
Ooh, we'll think on that. I'm so curious about what the conflict will be. I know a lot less than these two ladies. Lizzie, I see you. I see you covering your mouth there. What can you tell us? What do you expect to see in terms of sources of conflict this season?
What I don't expect to see is Darby conflict. It's been 9 seasons. If we're gonna have Darby conflict right now, I'm gonna get mad. And I don't think it's gonna happen, because they don't have time to set up conflict really well and then pay off the conflict. They only have a short season. So maybe this is wishful thinking, but I don't think that's where the conflict is gonna be. I think the conflict is gonna be outside of Harvey and Donna, and then we are gonna see them facing the conflict together in a different way than when they were facing conflicts together before. Because even though the dynamics have not changed, they will be put in situations where the relationship they're in will make it so they maybe make a different decision than they would have before. And that's interesting. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do think that this season, everything is messed up in the firm, and everything is always messed up in this firm. This is a trend, but I don't see how it ends well when they have the blind loyalty we've been talking about has made these people make bad decisions over and over and over again. And I almost feel like in the end, they might end up not being lawyers or not being a firm, and they might all have to go their different ways.
Yeah, I think especially with the show ending, they really open up the possibility of an ending that's not necessarily happy, not necessarily sad, but maybe sort of a new start for some of these characters. Especially, you think of Donna, for example. We frequently talked about the idea of her possibly, moving outside of the firm to chase different dreams, right? Maybe manage a theater or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So there's other places for these characters to go when the show itself is ending anyways. And I think that this season has set up for conflict to potentially happen that can maybe disperse them a bit, and you get sort of a bittersweet ending out of that. They're not going to give us a straight up happy ending. So I'm just sort of bracing myself for that. Which does, I haven't mentioned it yet in tonight's episode, but we've mentioned it, of course, on the after show. This season will be a bit unique. We're going to have Suits and Pearson airing back to back, I think, most, if not all nights, and it will be 10 episodes of each. So just a little bit different structure. Normally, Suits, we have the front 10 and the back 6 with a hiatus, and we just have 10. So that would be a little bit different. And that leads into my last question, which is, what are you hoping to see from Pearson? What are you looking forward to in this kind of blank slate? Shana, do you want to start us off?
So Pearson, and I think they already did a really good job of doing this. It needs to establish itself outside of Suits without giving away what it already has gained from Suits, right? And so I think I tweeted tonight something about, there's a lot of stuff. I was joking about the bathroom argument trope. There's a lot of stuff that it's clearly, you can tell it's the same writers. You can tell this is the same Jessica Pearson that left Suits. But it's also really established itself. It is a show where, it's called Pearson. It doesn't have a generic name. It's named after a character. Like, this is Gina's show. She's going to be 100 steps above everybody on the totem pole. So that's different. It's a different, instead of the law, it's dirty politics. So I'm looking forward to seeing, and again, this one's even harder because I've seen more, but getting a good look at that, a good, honest look at what that's like, particularly for someone like Jessica, who's, regardless of the fact that she kind of fell from grace thanks to Harvey Headass and friends, a really powerful woman of color and how those dynamics play out. And also, I'm just looking forward to the wardrobe, because Gina and these wardrobe people, again, it's borrowing from Suits, but not Suits. They've always been so good at dressing her, and I think with it being her show now, it's going to be even better, and we're going to see more of her than we saw on the old show. So, God herself in finery.
Yes. I could not ask for more. I, for one, was thrilled with the fashion, the presence of this character, how well she was easily able to lead this show. So I thought it was fantastic. I'm just looking forward to more Gina Torres. Always love her presence on Twitter as well. That was fantastic.
Oh my God.
Lizzie, what do you look forward to on Pearson?
I don't actually care about anyone else, and it's not that I'm looking forward to caring about anyone else. But I will if I go 10 episodes and at the end only care about Jessica, but she was the same level of amazing that she was in the pilot, I'll be like, well, I'll still watch the show for Jessica. Mm-hmm. But in general, I think to make it a better show, I look forward to caring about more people. I think the standout in the pilot, other than Jessica, was Derek. He felt like he had a spark, and I could end up he wasn't a step ahead of Jessica, but he was a step ahead of everyone else, which puts him in the middle between Jessica and the rest. So that seemed to me like it could be interesting. And I also hope there's balance. We've seen a lot of law Jessica, and now we're seeing dirty politics Jessica. We haven't gotten to see as much family Jessica, or the dynamics with where she's at now and what she wants to accomplish family-wise. And I hope they go into that
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love for this to get more, tied to Jessica's personal life, family history, background, which definitely seems like it's going to be. I think that that's just such a fascinating character to play with. The promo as well for Pearson had me excited. It seems like it's going to be pretty kind of action-packed, maybe more so than even Suits is. Suits promo was great as well this week. Promos are always, pretty important, especially following the first episode, because a lot of times you'll see material from the whole season. I know Sasha just asked in the chat, did you guys see the new promo out? Yes. And she said she thought she saw Sheila might be suggesting to Lewis that he should leave the firm in the new promo. So that's another really interesting piece and another direction one of our main characters could go. Now, I know I've already kept you guys a couple minutes over time. I don't want to fall asleep on camera, so I will let you go while I go not fall asleep, but scream about both shows for a little bit myself. But Shana and Lizzie, where can everybody find you guys if they want to pester you with more questions about Suits and Pearson and your thoughts on these shows? Shana?
At Shazors, except that the O is actually a 0.
Make it easier, God. Make it easier.
I'm no, because it fits.
Fine.
The links to both of their social medias are in the description below as well. Lizzie, where can they find you? What do you do?
I am Lizzie Dad, which is much easier than Shana, and I have I'm writing reviews for Suits this year at Fangirlish, basically because I said to Shana, I might want to, and then she said, okay, you're doing it, bye. Just like I didn't know it was a discussion, but she made me, so here I am.
That sounds fantastic. I fully support that. Both of them do fantastic reviews on several TV shows. That's all to be found on their Twitter. You can find all of that in the description down below, and you can chat with them about Suits and Pearson and everything else like I do, and thank them for being on the show. Thank you everybody else as well for watching, for those of you who watch live, for those of you who watch after. I just found out that our most recent Suits episode, or whatever the most recent one I had on my channel, just hit 1K views. One of our Suits episodes that we did together just hit 9K views. So a lot of you are apparently watching later too, which is fantastic. Please feel free to drop some comments. Let us know what your thoughts are as well. We look forward to 9 more weeks of chatting about Suits and Pearson. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.